Hi there. Welcome back to part 7, I believe it is, of our Tardis build, and we're getting down to the hard stuff here now because we're getting into some mad carpentry skills here. Well, okay, mad carpentry skills for me. Now, maybe this is carpentry or plumbing 101 for somebody else, I don't know. But for me, it's pretty mad stuff. So we're getting to build the roof section here. So my lovely wife would hand me that one picture over there. This is what I'm using as a reference, and I pretty much have that as a reference, you know, for the Tardis itself, and then this for the roof. So what we've got is our first level, our first layer that lays on top of the Tardis. Then that's actually a 2x4 ripped in half. Then that's a 1x8, and that's a 1x6. So now we're getting to the part where we're building the apex, and that kind of honestly scares the hell out of me, but we'll see how well we do. And this is what I have so far. I've got my 2x4 ripped in half there, and I got my 1x8 nailed into the inside of it, and then a 1x6 nailed to the inside of that, stepping it up. And then there's alternated my corners for strength. So it's this assembly right here is very rigid, and now we're at the point where we'll cut our 4 triangles that will make the apex. And I saw on one guy's set of plans somewhere that the top part, there's a little, almost like a keystone in an arch, really, is what this is, but that this is 6 inches square, and then this top part of the apex is 6 inches. So in theory, we do our inside measurements here, and then, you know, do a straight line there up to well, the center line here, and then 3 inches that way and 3 inches that way of the center line, and then our inside measurement, and then do that. We should have our Pythagorean theorem, which is a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and it should work. As long as, boy, that sounded intelligent, didn't it? I had to look that up. As long as this is perfectly square, which we've got it pretty damn close, then all this should work. So stay tuned here, and we'll show you how it turns out. Okay, so thanks to a calculator that somebody put on TardisBuilders.com, by utilizing my measurements, this is what I've come up with. And the center hole is going to be 6 inches square, which is what I've got here built up. Now, some people route these out of one piece. I made mine out of 2. Took a piece of 1x8 and glued it, nailed it to the bottom of this 2x here that's cut into a 6-inch square. And then, given the calculations here given to me by the calculator on the forum there, TardisBuilders.com, got to give them a shout out because I'd have been totally out in the woods by myself without that. It's 12.66 degrees, which on a table saw is somewhere between 12 and 13 degrees. So I mitered the edge there with it, so that'll allow my to match the roof slope. And then the height we calculated, the rise is 4 inches. So miraculously enough, I have to thank my lovely wife Tammy here. The bucket is the exact perfect height as a reference, as a guide for this at 14.5 inches, based on, our height here, and then our 4-inch rise from there to the middle, which, when considering the 3/4 inch piece of 1x there underneath, worked out to be, I needed a platform height of 14.5 inches, which is exactly the height of that bucket. So that really worked out great. And it's always good when you don't have to build something there. But anyway, so that's where we're at, and then we'll start working on our little triangle sides of the trapezoid here, and see how we go. All right, after a few hours of work, we got our Tardis roof done. And say thanks to TardisBuilders.com forum. Somebody was nice enough to put a calculator out there that I just pretty much had to provide my outside dimensions and what kind of rise I wanted, and it calculated the dimensions for me, and it was close. So, which I'm sure meaning that had I cut them properly, then they would have been perfect. But anyway, I mean, just they were, for all intents and purposes, perfect. So very little filling needed. So now I just have some wood filler and just some minor imperfections to smooth out the surface of the roof, and then it'll be time to prime it, and time to we'll put a like an elastomeric rubber sealer on it before we paint it. That'll ensure that the no water soaks down into the wood. So, and then next thing I'll work on is the lantern. So anyway, making progress. Oh, all right. So while the wood filler and everything is drying on our Tardis roof section here, it's all coming along real nice. I was really worried that this was going to be a woodworking disaster, but it actually worked out. It's probably one of the easiest parts of the whole project, I'm surprised to say. And I say that because of my notable lack of fine woodworking skills. Now, I can cut wood and build a house, but when it comes to making artsy stuff like this or cabinets or something, I don't claim to have too much skill there. But anyway, I've got that done. I got the two boxes for the police call box signs here. I'll have to prime them and put some painter's paper down here, and got my island covered. I could have stood to have built this a little further that way, but anyway, it is what it is. And just in case anybody's wondering, because I've had a couple of people ask me, some, close local friends, they're like, why are you building it in there? How are you going to get it out there? And I did say so earlier on in one of the videos, this is set to where I can take it apart. And it'll come apart in basically, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces, okay? That roof section being one piece, okay? This wall section and the one front door that's attached to it, that's another section. This back wall section here, and then this section of wall with the other door connected to it, okay? And then that one little piece that goes across the top up there, that all pop out of there, and that's it'll all come apart into parts that are easily manageable by 2 people and an appliance dolly. So that's how we plan to get it out of here. So anyway, we're going to throw a coat of primer on this and those 2 boxes, and we'll get going here. All right, so we got our first coat of primer on there, and then of course the roof section's still in there. It has some wood filler on it that we have to wait to dry, but the main body of the Tardis is, as they say in the industry I work in, this is a body in white. So got a really good primer sealer on there. Let's see how my hopefully this wood filler here will dry up eventually. It should. I'll just prime these when I finish up priming this. But yeah, we're doing good. I'm happy with how it's looking.